The space is over. Option.
There's minutes.
It's being recorded.
Okay. Is it noon?
Just about.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right.
All right. Just a real quick note before we get started. I'm gonna go ahead and mute the people who are on Zoom, just so we cut back on any background noise. And then we ask the people who are there in the room just to keep your conversation down to like very quietly, because people on Zoom will have a hard time hearing. Okay, thank you. So Carolyn, take it away.
All right. Well, we're privileged today to have a guest to speak to us on scams and frauds and internet crime from the, what office was it?
Consumer Affairs.
Consumer Affairs. Okay. And can you tell us your names?
Yes, I'm investigator Jen Titheridge. I'm here with
I'm lead investigator Jack Badalamenti.
and
And I'm investigator Amanda Boyce in the outreach coordinator's office.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Now, I appreciate your help and your patience with us getting our equipment working here and Zoom and everything.
sure, no problem.
So,
Before we start, does anybody want to follow along with the booklet? They're right here if anyone wants.
yeah, they brought literature, guys. It's in large print for anybody that wants to follow. Paul, do you want literature?
Westminster chimes toll. Westminster chimes.
Okay.
Lottie?
Clock, 12. Clock, now, clock. Alarm clock, 12.
They're gonna leave some here, right? Yes.
Yeah.
More.
Okay.
Dismiss.
Thank you.
Okay, and they're going, let me turn it off. They're going to send us some literature via email. So for those of us that depend on JAWS to read things or Zoom, we'll be able to do that. Okay? And go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our presentation is on avoiding scams and also contractor fraud. Scams come at us every day in many different ways, so it's always important to be aware. Our division, we do a lot of different things at Consumer Affairs. I mostly do mediation between consumers and businesses, which is more investigative in terms of customers will come to us when they have a problem with a business like Comcast or dry cleaning or anything like that. And we look into it for the consumer for free. It's a county service, and we try to resolve it before it has to go to court or doesn't get resolved. So, you know, we're a good resource to help. And lead investigator Badalamenti spends more time in the field doing compliance work. We do inspections on tow trucks and taxis, and we regulate the home caregiver industry as well as adult entertainers and movers. And most recently, we're going to start taking up the booting, car booting. So we regulate industries and we do mediation for consumers. So if you ever have an issue like that, you can call us and we'll try to help you. So we also provide business reports for you that we can send out, and that will tell you about a business if they have complaints against them. Oh, we also do water taxis. That's something new too. All right, so I'll ask, you can keep your questions till the end or just interrupt me if you have a question about something we're talking about. We'll go through some of the top scams that affect older adults, but also younger adults. Most recently, there have sprung up a type of scam, COVID-19 vaccine scams. Scammers will try to do anything to get your personal information or your money. And so all of these scams have that in common, whether it's Medicare or government imposters or lottery scams. They're all looking to get your money or to get your identification so that they can steal your identity and eventually get your money. So whether they're calling you about a new treatment for COVID that you might want to invest in, or they're calling and they're saying they're the IRS and you owe them money, or they're saying you've just won a sweepstakes, but you have to give us some money first before we can give you your prize.
Right.
Those kinds of things are all scams, but they're more sophisticated than I'm describing because a lot of people get taken by this every year. And even a friend of mine, sadly, this year got caught up in an online romance scam. Those ones are pretty common now that there's a lot more online dating, and because of COVID, now you go onto these dating websites, you meet someone, you know, they get to know you pretty quickly, and all of a sudden they're asking you to transfer money to them because they have an emergency or a health issue, but they want to be with you, or they need some money so that they can get a plane ticket to come to you. And so my friend got caught up with one situation, and he said, I work on an oil rig. Can you transfer some money to me? I wasn't able to do it, and now I have to fly out at 2 a.m. And this is someone she'd been talking to for a little while, and she trusted him falsely. And luckily that was a red flag for her when it came to sending money, and she didn't. But the oil rig one is very common. Also, yeah, they say they're a doctor for a foreign company. That's why they're overseas, but they're American and they're coming back, but something happens and they need you to help out. Yeah. Grandparent scams also common. You'll get a call from someone who claims to be your grandson or your granddaughter. And if you're not careful and you're not listening, you may not recognize the voice, or you don't talk to that person often. And they tell you, Grandma, Grandpa, I went to France and now something's happened and I need help. Can you send money? Yeah. This has happened where people will send money, just not even questioning, saying my family needs help, and they just do it. Debt collection agencies. That's an interesting one. It's a little different because debt collectors will generally know a lot about you in the first place. They know your social security number, they know your name. They should know information like that if they're legitimate. So if you get a call from a debt collector saying you owe this debt, and you're like, maybe I do, is there something I forgot about? Then you can ask them questions and say, well, oh yeah, what company do you work for? What's your email address? What's your phone number? What's this? What's the debt? What's, and they should know that information. If they don't know it and they're asking you for it, then it's a good chance that they're scamming you. Computer tech support scams. I actually noticed on your screen here, it says HP Wolf Pro Security. Restart your computer to finish installing important security updates. Remember to save your files before restarting. Sometimes the tech support scams will pop up on your computer screen and they'll say, you need to act now, call this number. Don't call the number, that is a scam. Something like this is legitimate, especially if you know you have HP Wolf Pro Security, but you probably have something like that, like Norton or something else. So that's okay, you can click on that, but it's things like that that pop up on your screen that you should not touch.
And to add to what she's indicating, when it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Verify. Even after verifying quite a few times, in the back of your mind, is it still legitimate or not? Just continue to verify, ask questions. If you're not sure, especially on these phone scams, okay? Let me have a number and let me call you right back. A lot of times they'll hang up, okay? Or if it's the grandson or granddaughter calling, is your mom aware? No, let me reach out to your mom. They'll hang up. The romance, that's the biggest one right now for seniors. Okay. A lot of nursing homes are experiencing this. There's a lot more women than there are males. So a lot of times they'll target the males over the women with the romance, and then they're getting scammed. It could be from overseas. Send us money, we'll come and visit you. And that's gone. Another one is they're targeting seniors. If they have loved ones, they're by themselves, they have assets that they want to relinquish. Okay. Oh, we'll love it. Send us the information that we need in order for us to process the paperwork without you not knowing what's going on. Okay. Have a car to sell. Okay, great. No problem. Send us the information. We'll take care of it. Next, you know, they have all your personal information, Social Security, date of birth, you name it. They'll run with it. I'll sell it to the black market. Just be aware, be cognizant, and just question everything. Just question everything. That's the best advice I can give you.
My mom received a call from someone saying they was my son, and said, "Grandma, I'm sick, you know, help me, I need you to help me." So it was just a scam.
Wow.
Is there any chance you can get your money back when they get scammed?
They're very good. They're very good at what they do. And a lot of times what they will do is they'll ask you for money by wire, by gift card, or by other ways that can't be traced. And once it's gone, crypto, exactly, yes. So they're smart enough to know you can't track them down using those ways usually, but
99.8% of the time, you will not see a dime back.
yeah.
Yeah, I understand. What about being prosecuted? Do they get caught?
A small percentage, very, very small percentage get caught.
Wow.
Very small percentage. So a lot of times you're dealing with folks that are not here in the United States, they're overseas.
Right.
And what they'll use VPNs. You know what a VPN is, right? It's a computer software program where it covers your tracks. The more VPNs you have out there, it's harder for them to track where its destination, or should I say its origin. It's known where it's going, but its origin is very hard to ascertain. So a lot of times it could be from Russia, it could be from South America, it could be from Asia, and there's a few here scattered in the United States, but it's very, very hard. That's why I emphasize verify. And if you can pay with a credit card, I prefer American Express. I don't leave home without it because they have a tendency of taking care of certain issues that I have had problems with. Some other credit cards, you have to look at the fine print. They may not help you as much, but overall, you're better off using a credit card. Don't use your debit card, okay? Because they can wipe your account, and then granted, it could be protected, but certain things that you may sign on saying that it's okay for them to debit, okay? Credit is a lot easier to dispute than debit. Just keep that in mind.
How about this home title theft?
Okay, the home title theft, what they'll do is, because we live in a state where everything is public record. You can look up me, I can look up you, and you can see. So what they'll do is they'll go down to the clerk of the court, pay a $10 quick claim deed, and they have control of your rights at home. So what you can do is you can reach out to Palm Beach County Clerk of Court, and you can put an alert on your property. So anybody that requests information from your title, you'll get alerted to make you aware, was it me? Because, for example, if we're refinancing, everything's recorded. I'll get an alert because I have one already set up. I'll get an alert saying like this particular document was already published with the clerk of the court and it's recorded. You have a booking page. That would automatically alert me. So, okay, I'm the one who did it. But if you get an alert on a new quit claim deed for $10, now you lost the ownership rights to your property, it would alert you and say, wait a minute, I didn't do it. So you'll contact the clerk of the court, get a hold of the state attorney's office, get a hold of law enforcement, everything's documented and recorded. So that whoever initiated that quit claim deed, they can go back and research and ascertain who did it. So you don't lose your rights because it costs thousands of dollars in lawyer fees and everything else to try to reclaim your rights to your property.
What's the company that you pay a fee, an annual fee? I can't think of it. I have it. They cover you for that and other things.
Lifeline?
Yeah, thank you. New Gingrich advertises for them, yeah.
What?
What's it called, title?
Lifeline.
Oh, Lifeline, yeah.
Right, there are different programs programs out there or companies like that that provide you with some form of protection up to $1 million if you get scams or fraud or whatever may happen. You need to contact, research it, and find out if it's suitable for you. And I mean, we cannot recommend any of these companies. And my disclaimer is, if you need more information, definitely get a hold of a lawyer to help you navigate a way to protect your personal property, especially when it comes to real estate. But
You think it's smart to go down to the court and get these things done?
you can go down or you can do it online, one or the two. I did mine online. I went online and I went to Palm Beach County Clerk of Court, title protection or title fraud. I registered with them. What I had to do was document every single piece of documentation that I had on record, made them aware of it so they can automatically put that alert on myself and on my spouse. So if either one or the other, I'll get alerted. And you can do that. It's free to the public. It doesn't cost a dime. Yes, ma'am.
Last week I had a call from a very attractive male voice.
It wasn't me.
That said, hello, Cleo, I'm Officer Frank from your local precinct. We are looking for donations for the PBA.
I got the same
For
phone.
PBS?
You got-
So did I. So did I.
So I said,
Did you donate?
No.
I'll come down to the local precinct and donate at the precinct. And he said, F you, and hung up.
Whoa,
And
wow.
I said, I didn't know police call people to get money from them. Do they?
They're- They do not. They do not.
And you
I've
should
been told
never,
many
you should
times
never
from them.
give money over the phone, because that means you're giving bank details or financial
Exactly.
information over the phone to someone you don't even know who they are.
And if
That's
they-
just not a good
You know
practice.
what they do a lot too is call, like, say, like they're the sheriff, and they'll call and say, is Vicky there? I said,
Yes.
No, well, hang on, maybe you can help me. No, I don't think so.
Right, I got that many times, right. Yes, ma'am.
Years ago, a friend of mine got taken for $10,000 with a grandson. And right after that, I got a call, that I had $1 million in a car. And all I had to do was go out and get $250
Right.
in a money order.
Mhm.
And when I got back to my home, my car and my $1 million would be there.
Yeah, right.
And so I said, oh, that sounds wonderful. But I said, I don't have $250. And he said, where do you think you can get it? And I said, yeah, I'll go out and get a loan. So he said, I'll call you back. So he did, he called me back. And I said, no, I couldn't get it. But I talked to my son, he's Attorney General in Indiana.
Mhm.
He said, oh, well, let me send you some information. He sent me things to my computer with letterhead on it. And he still wanted me to send the money. And this went on for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
You know what I told him? Deduct the 250 from the million and send me the difference.
Right.
But he went on, he kept calling. And I finally, I said, sir, I'm not interested at all, and do not call me anymore. Well, about 3 months later, I got a call again. It was the same voice, and I had won the Publisher's Clearing House. And then after that, about 2 weeks after that, he stopped calling me. But he kept calling me, sending me letterhead and everything.
Wow.
The other one is,
But my friend got taken for $10,000.
oh, God.
And my friend, not too long ago, he's down here in Florida, got taken for $10,000. They held her computer in ransom.
That's good. The other thing is, you get a call from IRS or Social Security, it's a scam. They never call you, they'll send you a letter. So don't ever give out any information with that.
If they don't call you, they'll be knocking on your door.
Oh, I cursed them. This is Officer so-and-so. I said, take a hike, buddy, and I hang on.
There you go.
We actually have a question. We have a question on Zoom. And if we can take that now, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The phone number, it's a telephone user. Last four numbers are 7707. You can unmute since you're a telephone user. If you can do *6 to unmute yourself. Last four numbers 7707. Please unmute. *6.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yes.
Okay, another idea is when you get calls from people that you don't know, one of the good things to do is when you answer the phone, say something like, "Welcome to Little Caesars. Would you like a pizza?" Because if they hear that it's a business, then they won't try to ask you personal questions, I don't think. Right?
Yeah.
Well, we make it a
Would that
general
work?
practice when, sure, I mean, whatever works for you, but, you know, every time we see numbers that come up on our phones that we don't recognize, we don't answer them. You just don't answer it.
That's
That's
right.
it.
Mhm.
I answer them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't answer it.
What about the things that come up?
And is Medicare allowed to? Are they allowed to call you? Because I'm getting calls from Medicare asking me my age and saying, "Oh, you can get discounts if you give me your
Oh,
number." and
no,
everything.
no. That is a common scam, Medicare scam.
Mhm.
They try to sell you Part D insurance or, you know, different kinds of coverage. You can request written information about that, so you can look at it and you have time to purchase it. They give you a window of time, so you're not under any pressure to answer them on the phone right at that moment until you check into it yourself.
Right.
And that is a scam where they'll call you and try and get you to buy things like that.
Okay, what about?
So if I request for it in writing, do I need to give my address to them so they'll mail it to me? Or-
Not to the person on the phone, but to
no.
the legitimate Medicare office, yes, which I don't have in front of me, but it can be found easily.
Yes, Kevin?
Okay.
Right?
My mom was sitting on the beach. My mom is 80 years old. And my brother and cousins, they took a walk down the beach and she just sat on the beach and, you know, waited for them. And while they were gone, this young man come up and he said, "You know, you're beautiful. You got beautiful hair." Well, about that time, my brother and cousins came back and they asked her what she was doing and the guy took off.
Uh-huh.
So is this another scam that's happening to seniors?
It could be a distraction from them.
Well,
trying
she
to
had
just-
her purse sitting with her.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So the only thing we can think of is he was gonna snatch her purse.
It's
Maybe.
possible.
Oh, wow.
Yes, young lady.
Where's, oh, I'm sorry.
Near her.
Oh, you're
One or the
not
other.
first, so it's you.
Yeah, I had a scam once where my bank, well, they claimed to be my bank. And this is so-and-so bank, and we've noticed there's something wrong with your account with us, we're gonna close it out, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So, like, something's wrong, I don't trust them.
Like there.
So I went ahead, I hung up. I said, look, this is a bad time to call. I hung up.
Mhm.
And then I called my bank
Mhm.
and I said, I just got a call saying my bank account was shut down. What's going on? They said that was a scam.
You did the right thing. You did the right thing.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
When I get a phone call about that, I think it's a scam. Would they also know my address if they know the phone number?
They could.
It could.
Because a friend told me that one of them threatened her and said, "I know where you live." Because she hung up the phone and they called back and said, "I know where you live." What should she do about it?
Contact law enforcement.
Mhm.
Contact the police, because if she was threatened telephonically, it sounds to me that she should automatically reach out to local law enforcement. At least they could record and document that transaction, so if something does happen, they have something to go back to and run with it.
Mhm.
What about the things that come up on your, on this spam likely?
Chances are it's a scam
Mhm.
or spam. If you're
Nowadays,
not sure, oh, I'm sorry, if you're not sure who's calling you, don't answer it, let it go to voicemail.
Right, and then I get a lot of potential scam on my phone when I get a call that's not recognized. But in the past, I've gotten several calls and with a number, it shows. And I call that number back. You know, it doesn't go through.
And they say it's disconnected.
Yes, something that is
I
just,
understand, they use a
Yeah.
number, how they do that, I don't know.
right, it's, you cannot call back on that number.
well, there's also a way that they can use to put different numbers up on your phone that are recognizable. A name could come up that you would recognize, or a company that you would recognize, and it may not be that person at all. But some have the ability to do that, so. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I noticed that with email sometimes. It's a name close to somebody in my contact list, but not the exact name, so of course I would never open it.
Yeah, a good clue with those kinds of things is to go up to the URL and look at what that says, and if that looks completely unlike a business URL, then it's probably a scam.
Which that takes us to the next page, which is called phishing. That's exactly what you were talking about. You get an email, somebody looks very familiar. What they're doing is you'll probably click on it, and next you know, what happened is by clicking on it, you just open yourself up for them to work in the background to obtain any personal information they have. Or what they'll do is they'll make their email so general. It's like going to see, when you have a tarot card reading, I don't know if anybody's ever done that, make it so general, oh, this is going to happen, but they're looking for more money to get you to give you the information that you're looking for. Same thing with that. Is just enough for you to give them what they want, and they run with, and they go with, like, your Amazon account has been locked up. Oh my God.
Yep.
You click on it, next you know,
Yeah.
you're ruined it.
Just got it.
You're ruined it. If you're not sure, get a hold, contact the appropriate authorities and run with it.
Yeah, I get those Amazon, but I don't go on Amazon, so I.
Well, there you go. You got nothing to worry
If I want
about.
something, my granddaughter comes to visit me. So she has my address for her Amazon account, which her email has nothing to do with my email. So I know, and then, most of us in here don't have cars because we don't see well enough to drive.
Right.
And they always want to give you buy into car warranty. or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean.
We all get those and we don't have a car.
I just got one today, just about a half hour ago.
Absolutely.
Or get them too, your vehicle insurance or your
Oh,
vehicle.
yeah.
Warranty.
Warranty as well. Yeah, right. You're right.
You should listen in on this, okay?
One thing that you have to, folks, one thing you have to remember, the whole purpose regarding phishing email and making these phone calls is your information.
Can you hear?
Is very vital to the black market. Okay, if you, young lady, got my personal information, okay, you can sell that to this young lady here, and she can pay you hundreds and hundreds of dollars for my personal information, because they can turn around and open up accounts on your name, or get credit cards on your name, buy property on your name. I've had in the past situations where my wife's credit card information got stolen, but with that, they were able to do other things.
Yes.
So I had to get a hold of law enforcement, record it, get a hold of the credit card companies, my bank accounts, put a freeze on my account, which I highly recommend everybody do. Get a hold of TransUnion, Equifax, Experian. You could put a freeze. In other words, anybody or anybody has your social security number, wants to open up an account, they can't because it's frozen. And the only way to unfreeze it is you have to reach out to them. They'll ask you a bunch of information that you only know to release it within a certain time frame that you want them to keep it open. That's what I highly recommend everybody do. You're entitled to one credit report a year, or you could belong to American Express has a credit card, where a credit card or secure something where you can research and look at your all accounts that are open. Other companies are out there that you can open up or pay a monthly stipend to get review your credit card, your credit report closely and monitor that very closely to see what accounts have been closed, and hopefully they're still closed, or what accounts are open, so you have an understanding. I highly recommend everybody does that.
This is Jason really quick. I just want to go back and make a comment really quick. You were talking earlier about VPNs, and I actually use a VPN called Surfshark. I've actually been using it now for almost a couple of years. And what's nice, which is nice about that VPN is that you can use it on your smartphones, your tablets, computers. And I'll be honest, I just went on a trip last week, excuse me, and I was in several airports. including a hotel, and they all had free and open Wi-Fi. And let me tell you, when it comes to security and your personal information, open Wi-Fi's, open connections, no matter where you go to have free open Wi-Fi are some of the worst. And if a hacker is out there, unfortunately, with a free or with an open Wi-Fi, unfortunately, you're very susceptible to hackers and people getting personal information from you. So yes, always please get a VPN.
What about the hotspot on your phone? Is
That's actually, that makes your
safer?
phone, yeah, no, that's no good either. So
It's not good?
no, use it if you have to, but as far as that, I can't remember if that's open or not, to be quite honest. But with all the traveling I just did and all that, and with all the free Wi-Fi I was on, in fact, I had turned on my VPN before I left my first airport when I'm going on my trip, and I actually forgot it was on and didn't realize it was still on once I got home. So that was a good thing, because I'm kind of glad I forgot about it, because I was in many places, and I'm glad that at least I knew that my connection was secured and encrypted and no one could get my real location.
So how do you go about getting a VPN?
You can sign up. There's many of them out there. Surfshark is actually really accessible. That's
How do
one.
you spell that, Jay?
Surfshark, SURF shark, like the fish, SHARK.
Okay, it's a second word I wasn't sure of.
Shark,
Okay.
yeah, sorry. And they do give you a free trial. I signed up for a 2-year subscription because they were running a promo at the time, and I figured I might as well just go and get the 2 years. So I got that a while ago. But anyway, so the good thing with a VPN, I don't want to get too technical about it, is that when you're on a VPN, your location is hidden. So even if a hacker is trying to get your information, they don't have your real location that you're currently at.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because all these apps, a lot of them, they'll say, can we track your location?
It's not necessary for most apps to do that.
No.
So usually the answer is no, unless it's a specific mapping app.
Right.
Jan, would you just repeat what you said about opening up an unrecognizable email and what happens?
Oh, yes. When you don't recognize that email, a lot of times there will be information that they're seeking. Like, for example, Amazon, your account has been frozen. Click on this link. The moment you do that, it could be a hidden virus that can tap into your hard drive in order to ascertain as much personal information that you may have on that hard drive without you knowing, because it's in the background. And the more you prolong doing something about it, the more you open yourself up to the point where they can actually hack your hard drive and you have no control over your computer.
Wow.
And then you'll get a message saying, in order for us to release it, we want X amount of dollars sent at this location. So if you're not sure, don't open up emails. Only open up emails that you recognize, that you have communicated with the other party sent you information, you know each other.
And the same risk is for your phone?
The same with your phone. As a matter of fact, what that gentleman was talking about VPN, which the company that he has, for example, in my situation, I have Norton on my PC, my computer. That allows me to put that same protection on my phone, and I have a VPN. Some of your modem and router, how you get your Wi-Fi and internet connection, they have a built-in VPN already in the system as a form to protect. Once again, like that gentleman said, like I said earlier, the more you have on your arsenal, the better you are to protect yourself. It's like a suit of armor during the 16th, 15th, and 14th century, okay? Some had just regular leather, they didn't do too well. Others had chainmail. The other ones had bigger, stronger body armor to protect themselves from the blows. Same thing with this. The more protection you have, the better off you are. But be careful with phishing, because phishing, that's what they're looking for. Personal information, first and last name, date of birth, social security number, anything that they can get, just a little bit of information can go a long way. Okay.
Last week, Manus called me and I was teaching a class and he said, Carolyn, got an email from you and it said to call you right away. I'm like, Manus, I never sent you that email.
Wow.
And he looked at the address and it said Carolyn Lapp at, but it was something else, not my address.
Mhm.
And it was sent to Manus Cassius at, and it was not his address,
Wow.
but it was sent through our center's website mail. So that's how he received it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but if he had responded to that,
Was that your
anyway, so
email?
they're pretty slick when they're fishing for
Yes, they are.
information.
And with that phishing information, what happens is, the moment you click on it, okay, it automatically takes control. I'm not saying all, but some will probably take control of your hard drive, which means you type it, you can't do anything. And then whatever you had could be lost. So very vital for you, if you have a computer, to back up your personal information on an external hard drive that you have in case your laptop or your PC gets hacked, you have a hard drive of all your information. An external, if you can get one, that'd be great. That you carry with you. It's not attached to anything unless you want to attach it to a computer to download or research or do whatever you have, and then you would unplug it and keep it aside. So the less you have, if you open yourself up, the better off you are. If you rely on it, back up as much information as you can on an external hard drive for you, just in case. In case it gets hacked and you lose, and then everything gets wiped out and you have to start from scratch all over.
Question.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
about Norton antivirus?
It's not bad.
Okay.
Not bad at all.
Is there any other type of thing to protect you, from hacking in?
Just
Oh, they're not responding or opening?
not responding, not opening is your best defense. It's like, like a gun. What's the safety? Your finger. Don't put your finger on the trigger and you're fine. That's your safety.
Yeah.
Okay? Same thing. The more you have, the better you are. If you're not sure, don't click on it.
Right.
If it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like this young lady talking about winning the sweepstakes.
Right.
Hey, listen, it could happen, but she felt in her heart, this is a scam. She did the right thing. Question, question, question.
Yeah.
And now, like your defense, hang up. Just hang up the phone. I mean, there's McAfee, there's this other gentleman you talked about, there's Norton. Stay away from the free ones.
Yeah.
The free ones, the protection, it's okay. It's okay, but the prescription, the one that you have to pay for, that's the best way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but can we recommend any of them? I can only say Norton has worked for me. That's my personal choice, but you just have to research it.
The only problem with Norton, it doesn't work well with our screen readers.
Oh,
So then you may have to go with
That's a
something
problem,
else.
yeah.
That's why I like that. That's why I like that Surfshark.
There you go. That's one that could work.
One other thing I was thinking about, this is Jason again, I don't mean to keep cutting in. One thing I was thinking of when talking about phishing scams and whatnot is especially on social media, especially Facebook. You have your friends list or whatever, always getting friend requests from people who I know who I already know I have on my friends list. And not that I go on Facebook hardly that often, but still. And I've heard about plenty of people, unfortunately, accepting friend requests from people. They'll just accept friend requests from anybody. And a lot of those wind up being scams as well.
Yeah, they want the numbers.
Yeah.
I received an email from a hospital in New York where I had gone some 15 years ago saying 2 laptops were stolen from their office, and since I had been a patient, my security could be in peril, but they didn't tell me what to do about it.
That sounds fishy.
Yeah, it does. It does. You can always reach out to that
Mhm.
hospital and ask. Or your best bet, if you're not sure, get a free credit report. Look at your past. Okay, see what accounts have closed, see what accounts have remained open. So that if there are any that, wait a minute, you're not sure, you can always dispute. It's very important to get that free one every year. I pay a monthly stipend to American Express, credit secure, and I can go on and check my credit report every 30 days. They'll let me know which accounts, because like I said, my spouse, she got hacked, and everything that she's on, I'm on. So I had to go back and review and verify. Now, you know, Equifax got breached years ago, okay? And my data was compromised, and millions of others were compromised. They paid for a yearly subscription, but after that, guess what? It's gone, so you don't know what you have. So it's always good to go back and get that free one.
Okay, and they say, you know, malware, if they put it on your computer, they can see everything you type.
That's correct. They can.
Really?
That's correct.
Wow.
Well, I got a message on my phone the other day that I had fraudulent activity on my account. But it didn't say what account or anything.
Delete it.
So
Don't
I
open
did.
it.
I didn't
Don't
do
open it,
that.
because today's phones, iPhones, Androids, they're like, not only it's a phone, but it's a computer.
Yeah.
And I didn't answer because I
Right.
thought they would tell me what company or what it was.
Right.
And an old folk like myself, I have my credit card information on my phone. I have all the stuff on my phone because I am too lazy to take out my credit card. So now I take the phone, go like this.
Yeah.
And that's all. And I pay that way. So you just have to be cognizant that your phone is everything about you.
So what about Apple
But
Pay?
that, you know,
That's
if it
exactly-
wasn't the dollar store, you didn't do it.
That's exactly it. So, I mean, you know, just protect your personal information as much as possible.
Lou, you had something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Apple Pay.
Mhm.
Is it safe to use?
Yes.
I mean, the card's in your phone.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And Apple, is that more virus protected than?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
They'll even give you fake or like different card numbers for your digital cards that you save to your
Yeah.
phone from your actual physical card. So if I use my phone, I always use my phone to pay. It's a different card number than my physical card.
Okay.
What about Zelle?
Those apps, they come with risks, but they are very convenient. I use Zelle, I use Venmo also, but they can be hacked.
It could be hacked. See, what investigator Amanda said, you have a credit card with a set of numbers. The moment you use your phone, it gives us a different set of numbers. Every time you use it, it gives a different set of numbers. So it's never the same numbers.
Oh, okay, that's good.
That's how Apple does it.
Okay.
Okay, that's how some other credit cards do it, that have, as long as you have it on your phone.
Right.
Okay, so this way to avoid that use of credit cards. Because you always see on TV or read in the paper, this young lady went to Wellington Mall and spent $5,000 on a stolen credit card. But you won't happen with, if you have the phone with Apple Pay, because it always changes. That's one way for them to protect themselves. Even though you have one card with the same set of numbers, but online it changes. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you use your credit card, guess what? It's going through the internet.
It's what?
It's going through the internet.
Yeah.
Okay? Because my mother-in-law says, I hate using my credit cards online. I said, Mom, when you go shopping, you pay with your credit card. What are you doing? It's going through, even though there's security measures. It's still going through the internet.
What about when a store, they get hacked in, like any department store, and you use your credit card there? I mean, could that affect us?
So pretty much the same thing. What happens here is read your statements. Okay, review your statements. If you see charges that
That you don't recognize, yeah.
call and report it.
Yeah, that's it.
To add to that, they will oftentimes be able to catch on to that, the institution. So I've had a couple times where my bank, Bank of America, will send me out a new card along with a letter or an email notification saying my card was compromised because of XYZ business. So a lot of times they will catch on to that, you'll get a new card. And because the number is out there now, somebody has it. So that's something that these institutions will do to protect you as
Yeah,
well.
my bank freezes my card if they see anything suspicious.
Yeah.
I, one morning I woke up, first thing I did was look on my computer and there was something from Chase Bank and it said, did you make these purchases? Don't answer. Call us back on the number on the back of your card. So I called, they said, man, you're up already. I said, as soon as I saw this, I said, I never even heard of these places. They said, okay, that's what we thought. You know, we're freezing your account now. And I said, well, I have my electric bill paid directly from it. Don't worry, we'll pay it, but you will get a new card in like 48 hours.
You know, when you call the credit card company, I do this almost like a couple times a week and check the account activity. And it'll give you over the phone, it'll tell you, whatever store you were in and how much the amount, the restaurant, whatever, and it's all there. And you want the date and the amount and the store. So I check that all the time.
Right.
Another thing you can do if you get an email like that from Chase Bank, it could also be phishing. They could have just said Chase Bank, that's a pretty common bank.
Now you have to
There's a
look at
problem
the
with your
email.
account, call the number. That's risky to do that. But you could call the number you know for Chase Bank and get information that way instead of calling a number that's sent to you like that through phishing.
That's the latest.
No, they didn't say it. They said on the back of your card, call the number.
Oh, okay,
Right,
okay,
right.
that's different.
So what she's referring to is online. They're getting very sophisticated where Bank of America lets you use Bank of America. Your address is correct, phone numbers are correct, but you look at the URL, it's like, wait a minute. Because there's a key. If you click on that key, I'll let you know it's a secure site. It's a trusted site. If it's not, call the back of your card. But I always say, if you get an email from the bank regarding something, don't click on it, call the bank. Okay.
If you have a credit card
Uh-huh.
and you don't feel as, like by Chase, I feel very secure with. But I maybe foolishly got a Sally Mae card that was sent any cash back would go to my granddaughter's account. Student loans. But I don't feel that their site is such a good site. Should I just cancel that card?
You can.
You can if you wish.
Because I find with Chase, if I see something that not sure, you know, that I'm sure I didn't order, I can just press a button, put it in dispute immediately, but this site doesn't have it. I think I should just cancel it.
Right. If you feel comfortable, ma'am, I've learned one thing in life. In my years of being on this earth,
That's your gut.
okay? Never listen to this. Never listen to what your brain is telling you. Listen to what your gut's telling you. Because from my experience, when I use my thought, I get myself into trouble. If I listen to my gut, I'm okay.
So, you know, Apple is changing and doing away with password as of iOS 16, and they're going into some other kind of ID. Do you know anything about that?
It's news to me.
Okay, just saw it today.
And we're all Apple.
Yeah, well, I
So
heard that.
that's news to me.
My
I'll
wife read
research
to
it.
me.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when
I think some people didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. That, Apple, as of, when iOS 16 comes out, they're going to do away with password and using another ID trick.
well, I use my
Oh, you mean
finger,
like the facial ID?
I'm sorry, not facial.
retinal. I
It's-
use
no,
my
it's-
finger for the.
I don't exactly know what it is, but,
I know they're always upgrading. Every new update that they do,
yeah.
okay, they add a lot more emojis, they do a lot of security fixes and
That's
everything
right.
else, but this is news to me,
Yeah.
getting rid of your password.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
Yeah,
you can
that's
send it.
news to
I don't
me.
know.
That's news to me.
My wife read it to me, so it's sort of a little red herring there.
That's news to me. We do have a comment or a question from someone on Zoom, if we could take that. I
Sure.
believe, phone number ending in 7707. Could you unmute?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Okay,
Everyone.
That's okay. I would like to know if you're on, if you have VPN, you know, on your phone, will you still be able to use stuff like GPS, or if you have an emergency, will they still be able to see where you are? And
Well,
Or like-
that's the one thing, since I can sort of answer that, at least a part of it. I mean, because I use it on my phone. I used it on this trip. And that was the one thing, you know, when you're using a VPN, you're hiding your location. So you got to keep that in mind. You know, I don't know if any of the folks there can answer that better than me, but as far
No,
as
you're
I'm
correct.
yeah,
You're correct.
yeah.
You're correct. It
As
does
far
match your.
as, far as I
location.
know, that's the one thing that is hampered. The other good thing about using a VPN, this is sort of something totally unrelated, and I have tried this and it works. If you have subscriptions to Netflix, Disney Plus, things like that, if you use a VPN and hide your location in the appropriate place, because you could pick like a random location or you can pick a location of your choosing, you can actually access Netflix libraries, Hulu libraries, Disney Plus libraries that aren't available in your regular location. So that's
But again,
it has
with
nothing to
VPN
do with scams or anything. It's just when we're talking about VPN, that's another thing that kind of came to mind.
But again, with VPN, say
I'm
you're
just
by
reading
yourself
about
and
it.
you need directions like
I'll
walking.
let you know.
Will the GPS still work?
That I don't know. I'm gonna guess that I'm gonna say it's 50% to work.
What does VPN
So it
stand for?
may, you may have a problem with
Acronym, all I know is the
if you
acronym.
use that. That's the one thing I have not
think it's
tested.
Virtual
I have not
Protection
tested
Network.
that.
Don't hold me to it. I got, you're looking at it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Oh,
Jason will know, he teaches computers.
Jason,
Yes,
do you know what VPN stands for?
virtual private
yeah, there you
network.
go. There you go.
Virtual private network.
That was right.
Private network.
Instead of saying protection, it was private.
Virtual private network. Yeah.
Private network.
We'll have to talk about that. too.
Okay, there was an article in AARP, almost the whole magazine of AARP back in, I think, April and May, was about scams and fraud. And they said that the new way that these scammers want money is through Zelle or,
Western Union.
yeah, all these immediate cash things where they get the cash right away. And then, of course, the banks don't cover that.
That's correct.
Right.
And you can do send warrants and
So they recommend, like you said, using the credit card.
Right, that's correct.
Mhm.
And the same thing with the IRS. They call, they'll send email, don't. The only way the IRS communicates is via mail. Okay, and if you're not sure, contact the IRS. Okay. On that particular note, how many folks have used contractors before? For construction work, contractors?
Oh, a lot of times.
All the time,
Yeah.
right? By
Yeah.
show of hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoa, pretty much almost
Definitely,
almost the
yes.
whole room.
Yeah.
6, okay.
Everybody.
Well, that's the latest scam going on.
Oh.
Okay, so if I'm at Home Depot and I'm looking at an interior door and I'm thinking to myself, how in God's green earth am I gonna put this together? Some young man or young woman will show up. Hey, you know what? I can do that for you. How much? Oh, $100. Oh, okay. They'll come over. They'll look at it. Yeah, I can do that. But you know what? I need 50% up front. And I'll come back the next day.
Yeah, right.
Okay? A lot of folks will don't do it. They'll pay. Person will show up. Yeah. Okay. Be careful on that. Contractors, which I regulated for 11 years, a long time. I was a supervisor of contractor certification, and I dealt with this all the time. Where folks need to be licensed. The construction trade is a regulated trade. There is no handyman license in Palm Beach County. Just to give you guys. There is no handyman. It doesn't exist.
There's no what?
Handyman license.
Handyman.
Oh,
There
okay.
does not exist in Palm Beach County.
Anybody can do it.
Okay, but you can do it, exactly. But a lot of the trades like painting, finished carpentry work, tile work, those are regulated trades as of right now. But July of 2023, the state legislature passed a bill, House Bill 735, which deregulated approximately 6 to 7, maybe 8 different trades. Painting, tile work is one of them. But as of right now, it's still regulated, okay? In other words, folks have to apply, take a competency exam. Once they pass that competency exam, we will have to determine do they have workers' comp and general liability, because that's important. If I'm visiting you at your home, you have homeowners insurance, a slip and fall, it protects you. It protects me. But if you hire me to do tile work and I cut off my fingers in your residence and I'm not licensed, your homeowner's insurance is not gonna cover it. Okay, it's gonna end up costing you an arm and a leg.
Say that last part again, if you're not licensed?
If I'm not licensed,
Yeah.
okay, and you hire me because I'm the cheapest guy
Yeah.
around the block and I get hurt in your home, okay, you hired me to do work, your homeowner's insurance is not gonna cover you. Yeah, and I can
Whoa.
sue you and I can possibly own that home
Because you're not licensed.
because I'm not licensed.
Oh, my
And-
goodness.
And the license, that's part of the criteria is to ensure that you have workers' comp, you have general liability. Now, workers' comp works two different ways. Those who are in the retail business, they're allowed around 4 exemptions, and after that, they have to have workers' comp. In the construction trade, you're allowed 3 exemptions. They have to be corporate officers, and whoever else has to be on the books. Now, those 3 exemptions, in other words, I'm exempt myself from having workers' comp. So if you hire me and I'm exempt and I get hurt, it's on me, not on you. That's how that process works, okay? And in order for you to verify if a contractor is licensed or not, is for you to contract Palm Beach County Contractor Certification. So I tell you if they're licensed, if they have a local license. Or you can go to the Department of Business and Professional Regulations and verify, because the state also regulates a lot of trades. And because they regulate it, they are required to have certain criteria in order for them to go out there and engage and act in a capacity that requires them to do something. Okay. So that's very, very important. You can also go online and see if there are any complaints. Now, folks complain about anything. I'm a complainer. And she could tell you, she could tell you. Okay. I complain. But, I mean, this water tastes great, but yet I'll complain I didn't like the way this cat. Okay, and that's what a lot of folks put online. So you can research a contractor, just take it with a grain of salt and do your own research. Now, I've had cases, and she can relate to it, where she'll recommend her to do carpentry finish. Well, she did a great job for her. Next you know, she did a lousy job for me. And I called, hey, where did you find this? Oh, I found her here, there, and there, and there. Is she licensed? Oh, I don't know. Well, I know she did a great job, and she only charged me $100 to do crown molding, cure rails. Well, there you go. Now, she came, did half the job, I haven't seen her. What's going on? But she took a good 25% of my money. Follow me?
That's it.
Now, on the other opposite end of the coin, you have licensed contractors. State law requires them to record certain things. For example, I call it 10, 30, 90-day rule. It's on the Florida Statute 49. If I'm taking 10% of someone's money, okay, I got 30 days to apply for a permit if one is required. 90 days to commence work once a permit has been issued, unless both parties agree to a longer period of time. Now, a lot of contractors want 50% of the part. A lot of them want 25% or 30%. Negotiate with your contractors. See if they accept credit cards. A lot of times they don't, because consumers have a tendency, when things don't go their way, they'll dispute the charges. Okay? Just talk to them, work with them. They'll be more than glad to work with you. But also keep in mind, regardless if it's contracting or any other contracts that you sign for cars or phones, read the fine print. Because a lot of times you're bound by that contract, regardless. Regardless of what the law says, you agree. I'm not a contractor lawyer, but I tend to be one at Consumer Affairs, at Contractor Certification, because I'm looking at the contract. It's like, wait a minute. It says here that this contract has up to a year to finish your work. So what are you complaining about? Okay. Or they file a complaint. It says, wait a minute. Read your contract. It has an arbitration clause. You can't file a complaint unless you go to an arbiter before you file a complaint. Now you read your contract. So that's when you have to hire a contracting lawyer to review and verify before you sign anything. I had a recent case, it was a $2.5 million home. Guy hired his contractor, legitimate contractor, did everything by the book, the job passed inspection, and I'm saying to myself, this guy was complaining about the roof, was complaining about the pool, which, remember that photo I showed her? It has a spa, and there's a pool, and the water is like over the spa. She said, what is it? Oh, wow, that's something. I said, what is this? Because I don't know, I said, now you have an issue with the building department, because the building department approved and passed inspection. Says, well, I have a lawyer. Okay, well, come to find out, the consumer did not pay the contractor his remaining share, and the contractor says, I'm not gonna go back and fix anything. So it becomes more of a legal. Then I'm looking at the contract, there's an arbitration clause. You have to give the contractor 30-day rights to cure a problem. If you don't do that, technically you're breaching contract.
We have had a contractor who redid their entire community's driveways and sidewalks. They're all cracking. And number two, the contract said the work would be done in 5 months. Took 14 months. So we're suing them. And they're suing us because we held back the last quarter of the payment. And so that's, I mean, I think that the contract was not too good either, to be honest with you. But at least the numbers are there. They were supposed to be done in 5 months, and it took them 14. So we are suing, but I don't know what we're going to get out of that. I'm not
That
sure.
really gets down to the court and the judge kind of picking that contract apart and the lawyers and,
Yep, that's just what I think is happening now.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is the Better Business Bureau connected to the Department of Consumer Affairs?
No, they're an independent, basically, I don't know, I'm gonna give you a little small history of it. There are a bunch of contractors, a bunch of businesses, a bunch of, I will say, owners of businesses that pull their money together to have this rating system. So if I'm a contractor and I pay, I'm part of the Better Business Bureau, I pay them an annual due. I could be an A or an A plus or an A minus contractor. Okay, but the moment I stop my dues, the rating might go down a little bit. Okay, but the Better Business Bureau is a good organization for you to tap into. Okay, they'll let you know if a company is paying attention to its customers, or let you know if a company is responding back to a consumer complaint. Okay, but not every business is part of the Better Business Bureau. Okay, you have to subscribe and join that organization. Not every company. If I don't join, I can be, I will say I'm a non-member of the Better Business Bureau, and I can, you know, and I have a bunch of complaints on me. If I'm a contractor, I couldn't care less what the Better Business Bureau, I'm not going to subscribe to it. But if I'm a contractor and I care about my reputation and my name, of course I'm going to say it. Better Business Bureau is a really good source. Okay,
Yeah.
but also keep in mind, okay, libel.
What?
Libel. Be careful what you put down, because they will turn around and sue you for defamation of character. I've seen it happen before. There was a young lady in New York who went to go see a doctor, didn't like the outcome, went online, social media, and just blasted. Guess what? He turned around and sued her. Now she's fighting in court, defamation.
What about on Yelp?
Just be careful.
Same thing?
Yeah, just be careful what you write, because some businesses are, if they lose business because of your remarks, they can turn around and sue you.
Well, what about when you go on the company site and write a review?
You can do that. Just be careful what you say. You know, just be careful. That's all I can recommend. That's like, it's an eye opener. It's like, for example, being a good Samaritan. I don't know if you've heard cases where if I'm helping her, next year she turn around and sue me because I helped her. I said, are you kidding? Well, what happened to the good Samaritan? But thank God the judge threw everything out. It's like, this is ridiculous. But that's why people are afraid to help all the people, because we're in a litigious society. Okay, so just be cognizant, especially when it comes to contractors. You can always question them, ask them for their past projects. You know, get at least 3 or 4 estimates whenever you do any type of work. Ask for their licenses information. Are you county certified? Or you're state certified? Now, keep in mind, if you hire somebody from Broward, If they have a county license in Broward, then they have to reciprocate the license here in Palm Beach County. If not, technically, they're classified as unlicensed in Palm Beach County, even though they may be licensed in Broward. A contractor with the state can operate anywhere in the state of Florida.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you don't have to have it specified for Broward or Palm Beach County?
I'm sorry?
You don't have to have it specified.
What do you mean by specified?
He's licensed in Palm Beach County.
Okay.
If you're state licensed.
If you stay licensed, you can operate anywhere in the state of Florida.
Yeah,
But
but if
if
he's just licensed in Broward,
Mhm.
he's not licensed in. Is there reciprocity?
there is no reciprocity. The only way he can reciprocate his license here is he has to register with contract certification.
Okay.
And if he meets the same criteria that we have, then he can pay his dues. If not, then he has to go through the licensing process.
Okay.
What about Angie's List, things like that?
Angie's List is basically what they are is, I call them a broker. All they are is a brokers. Okay, I'm looking for a contractor to put up a fence. There's a laundry list of contractors. You click on it. That contractor pays Angie's List $25 to $35 for that referral. And they go out. But if you read Angie's List, if you look at the little disclaimer, it's up to you to verify licenses, verify insurance. Because all they are is a little person.
A friend of mine had someone come out from Angie's List to do a bathroom project. Wasn't even their real name on Angie's List. They didn't have to verify that even. So they showed up, they took the money, didn't finish the project, and disappeared. Didn't answer the phone calls, wasn't even the right name, so they couldn't find them. So Angie's List is scary to me. There's better ways to find people. And you can also Google people and see, is there any personal issues here? I like to know, does this person have a criminal background before they're coming to my house? I like to really, really dig into it.
And how would you find that out?
Well, you can find that on the county clerk's website.
Craigslist.
It's very easy, actually. You can go in and you can just enter someone's name as a guest. You go in as a guest, search court records, and you can find anything on people. It's public, so you can see traffic violations, divorces, assaults, things like that.
Okay, and that's in the county clerk?
Yes, Palm Beach County Clerk.
Okay,
You just go in as a guest.
okay.
This doesn't have anything to do with contractors. So about 3 years ago, my son called me, and he said, "Mother, have you been to the bank and do some money out lately?" And I said, "No, honey, I haven't." And he said, "Well, someone just took $1,100 and sent it out of your account." And I said, "That's impossible." But then I remembered, I went to the grocery store with my aide, and they run my PIN number. I couldn't see to put the PIN number in. So I whispered it to her, and she took that money out. About a month or so afterwards. And they called me and wanted to know if I wanted to prosecute her. I said, yes.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, right.
And, but my bank prosecuted her instead. So now, then I found out that I didn't need my PIN number, all I had to do is put it on credit. And then you don't have to have a PIN number.
Right.
So that's what I do from now on.
Oh, I will not give my PIN number to someone.
Oh, no, no, it's kind of like social security number.
Exactly. I went to Walmart one time and I was gonna use my debit card, but the debit machine was completely flat screen. Totally flat screen. I could not use it. And the clerk said, "Tell me your PIN number." I said, "I can't do that." "And tell me your PIN number." And I said, "No, I can't do that." And I just remembered saying, they said, "No, we are not gonna get your stuff until you tell me your PIN." And the people that was with me said, "Do it." I said, I don't feel comfortable. Can I use my credit card and then give me your PIN? Well, I thought, okay, I know this is fishy and I'm holding up the wrong one. So I gave it to him and I immediately went home. I canceled my PIN. I canceled my PIN.
You did the right thing.
I called them, I said, the Walmart people refused to let me have another payment. They insisted on my PIN number. And I ended up having to give it to them. I said, "I want to close my bank account right now." And they said, "Yeah, we'll do that." And they got me a new card.
Good.
Well, all you have to do is put it on credit and you don't need.
Credit, exactly, exactly.
But
Just,
I didn't know that at the time.
I didn't know that at the time either, and that Walmart lady was just really consistent.
But just to add to what you're saying, you have an aid, we do regulate that. It's called home health caregivers. They're required to have a badge with Palm Beach County Consumer Affairs. It's an
But the
ordinance.
bank prosecutor got the money back.
Good, good. But just to let you know, we do regulate that industry, so any caregiver who provides rides to and from doctor's offices, or take you to a beauty supply store, or get your hair salon done or hair done, we do regulate that. Just make sure your aide is licensed with a legitimate agency. If they're CNAs, we don't take care of it because it's fine, but if they are an HHA, then that's something that we regulate. They have to have a badge with them on all the time, as well as the agency.
They have criminal background checks.
And they do have a criminal background check, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you be clear, but at least you know in the back of your mind that they went through the process.
Yeah.
Okay, but it hasn't stopped anybody before, but still, just to give you a heads up, that's a good thing. That's a good first step.
Now, the criminal background check, is that for the whole country or just for the state of Florida?
Coast to coast, it's a level 2 background.
And to add on to that, if you guys have people or you live at a home or anything like that and stuff like that's happening to you and they're not just the home caregiver aides that Palm Beach regulates, you can also call the Department of Children and Families Adult Investigation is vulnerable adults. And those people taking advantage or stealing from you can be investigated through that and prosecuted criminally by doing that avenue as well, if they're not the ones regulated. So that's another possibility for you.
Or what happens when the aide sign the papers, they always need to, the person that is helper needs to sign the paper because the time that the helper working that time. But later the person noticed that she didn't sign, the person didn't help in that day, but in the agency, looks like she went to work and the person signed. That is,
The Agency for Healthcare Administration kind of regulates that. Mhm.
I know we
That's
have to
not
be
legal.
careful about signing off on anything like timesheets or even volunteers that come in, like sometimes we'll get a student that needs a certain amount of hours. And I never sign their thing until I have someone sighted read it. Because too many times I've went to sign it and they have inflated the numbers.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's correct.
so you have to be very careful.
Absolutely. And to add to what you were saying, getting back to the contractors, it's important to get estimates. Don't sign a contract unless you know for sure that you're gonna go with that person and that everything that you specifically discussed is on that documentation regarding how much money you need to put down, the breakup of the payment that's entitled to the contractor, the scope of work, okay? Review, get as many estimates as you can. Also keep in mind, we're all shoppers, we're all consumers. We're always looking to see, I'm not gonna pay $5 for a Sam's purified water. Oh, this is 50 cents. I'm gonna go with the 50 cents. Same principle applies with contractors. Why should I pay you $500 to paint my room if I could pay her $100? But there's a lot of aspects of it you have to keep in mind. Well, person has a license, person has insurance. That costs money today, especially when it comes to insurance. And there's a lot of upkeeps. So the price is a little bit high, but there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a form of protection. Okay. And that's important because the key here is, are they competent to paint? Yeah, anybody can paint, but I've seen people mess up paint. I really have. Okay. But at the same time, you have to protect yourself because if they get hurt on your property, you're SOL. Okay. I happened where I was working very closely with workers' comp years ago. They found a gutter company installing gutters on a second-story home. Now, gutters are not regulated with Palm Beach County Consumer Affairs on a single-family home, but when it comes to commercial property, apartments, and businesses, then they have to have an aluminum specialty license. Person let the license, let the workers' comp lapse. They were told to stop. We're given orders to cease and desist. Guy came down, closed shop, went away. The homeowner contacted the guy. He happened to show up because she agreed to pay a little bit more. Guy got on a second story, fell, hit his head, he went into a coma. Now, guess what? Never came out of a coma. So his wife turned around and ended up suing the homeowner. And you know what happened with that one?
She won.
Exactly.
What happened?
Do you know
She
what?
won.
The white one.
Do you know what I don't understand though? Last year, my husband and I decided we needed a new countertop.
Mhm.
I couldn't see the old one, so I didn't care, but he could see it and he said, we need a new countertop. So we went to a couple of places, we decided to go to Home Depot. We sat with the woman at the desk and she explained that they don't do it, but they have contractors.
Subcontractors, right.
Right, and we sat there with her and she recommended 3 subcontractors and gave us the days. By the time we got home, a man was calling saying that he can put the countertop in so that we can. How did they get that information?
Well, when you, okay, the way Home Depot, Lowe's, Sears, when they were around, the way they set up is they're separated into districts. Each district has a general or building contractor that qualifies a certain number of stores that allows them to sub the work out, like countertop is regulated in Palm Beach County. Okay. So Home Depot has a general building contractor that qualifies, and plus they have a bunch of subcontractors. Those subcontractors, according to the building code, if it's a single family home or townhouse, don't need to have a local certificate of competency. But on a commercial dwelling, they need to have a certificate of competency in their respective trade. So to get back to your question, how do they do it? Well, they have a list of subcontractors. So what they refer to is all 3 to see who is willing to do your job. Okay. Some contractors may be a little bit, some subs may be a little bit cheaper than others.
But the one who called was not any of the 3.
Then they must have gotten some information somehow or another. If it's not one of the 3, then who called? Because normally you're dealing with Home Depot.
Right.
Okay. And Home Depot has a sub. So the sub will let you know who that person is. And a lot of, exactly. And a lot of times what happens is, it depends upon where you reside. Some folks require you to have a permit and other folks do not. Okay. So to use your example, let's say your countertop where you reside requires a permit. So what happens is the contractor will show up when you agree, they'll fill out a permit form. If a job is $2,500 or more, there's a notice of commencement, it has to be recorded with the clerk of the court. In other words, it's telling the world that, hey, this work's being done at your home. So any contractor who fails to pay their sub, they can turn around and pull a lien against you to reclaim their lost wages. Okay, that's why the notice of commencement is a state law and it's required. Anything less than $2,500, you don't need a notice of commencement. So a countertop, there are countertops more than $2,500 and there's a lot of countertops that are less than $2,500. So let's go with the less than $2,500 in my example. So a permit is required, contractor will get a permit, okay? Then the permit has to be posted, has to be verified. And once the job is past inspection, then everything is fine. But let's say you have a hiccup.
A what?
A hiccup, okay? Where a problem.
Something went wrong.
That's right. The subcontractor shows up, doesn't finish the job. Who do you call? You don't know who the general contractor is because your contractor was Home Depot. So you get a hold of Home Depot. Find out, hey, what's going on? The sub never showed up. They'll try to reach out to that sub and ascertain as to why. If that person cannot show up, they'll send somebody else to fix it.
Is Home Depot liable?
Home Depot, yeah, your contract is with Home Depot. Absolutely. Like, I give you an example. My father had an exterior door done. Went to Home Depot. They send out a sub this sub had a county license. I don't know why, because general contractors through Home Depot. Well, I'm looking at it, goes, wait a minute, because the job's not finished. I said, that's a finished product? He goes, yeah, that's what they're telling me. And I called the sub directly because the sub is listed on the permit. He goes, oh, that's how we finished this. Are you kidding me? So I got a hold of Home Depot. I had to send photos. And they said, listen, you just buy the extra, that's how it is, which I found it a little hard to believe, but it is what it is. Okay, I reviewed the contract, there's a little fine print, which I needed a huge magnifying glass to see. I mean, that's how minute it was. And I said, okay, I said, but still, it's not correct for my father. It cost him an arm and a leg, but at least finish it. So I had to go to Home Depot, because I'm very familiar with the construction trade, and the different requirements and materials and all that. So I bought certain items that will finish it. So my brother can go in there, because he's a painter by trade, and take care of it. So I called Home Depot, because you buy it, which only cost me like $30.
Yeah.
Of course, the contractor probably inflate that, and they'll pay for the guy to come back and install it. So if you have an issue, Home Depot will rectify it. But to get to your original premise, how did that other guy get your number? That's something you have to ask Home Depot.
Yeah. I'd be.
Then don't do business with that person.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind, any contractor, regardless of who it is, ask for money up front, cash, don't do it. Or write me a check, make it out to cash, don't do it. Or make it out to a first and last name, don't do it. That's all I gotta say.
As blind people, we have a lot of contractors that try to take advantage of us.
Of course.
While COVID was going on, we were closed for 6 months, and in the meantime, we did a lot of remodeling. And one of the things was painting. We'll kind of find out the painters just put a primer on some of the rooms, and they didn't think we would notice, you know, but they didn't realize you could feel the texture of the wall and tell the difference. And so we had to make them come back and do what they were supposed to do in the first place. But you have to be very careful. And so for us, we usually get someone cited to come in and check things.
You need to do that at the beginning, during, and end.
Mhm.
Have somebody look at the contract, verify the information we discussed earlier,
Mhm.
look at the way you write the check and pay that contractor, okay? And then when that person comes and does the work, verify. It's like anything else. There's a checklist. Make a checklist for yourself. Okay, you expect this to be done in a certain time frame, this to be done in a certain time frame, this to be done in a certain time frame. Okay, and also, once again, it reverts back to the contract. Everything needs to be specified at the very beginning, so there is no question. I've had a situation for my own personal sake. Okay, when I had some work done, I'll tell the contractor, because they know what I do for a living at that time, even today. So I said, listen.
The first thing you should tell them.
Yeah, right. Or I'll make them an offer they can't refuse, one or the other. But I told them, listen, I want this done in 2 months. If not, I want the price to go down by 10%.
Per day.
Per day.
Yeah.
Some contractor goes, well, you nuts? Right. Well, hey, you want my business? That's what I want.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You hear that, Manus?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of contractors say, no.
I hear you.
I'll find somebody else.
Yeah.
Or you can say
Manus,
5%, or because now you're putting the burden on them to speed it up. Once again, it reverts back to the contract. You have to read it very carefully. And we have consumer complaints saying, oh, this person hasn't finished my job. If you look at the contract, well, it says if you have a year to finish from the date of signing.
So you wouldn't recommend any money up front, right? Zero?
Well, that's the way I like to do it. No money up front and pay at the end. That's me. But a lot of contractors won't do that because there are
They
costs
need the money
associated with it.
sometimes
Right.
to buy the stuff.
So a lot of times they want maybe 10%. Sometimes they might want half, somewhat half, a third. So listen,
Okay.
you accept the credit card.
Yeah.
I said, I'll give you what you want. If you want half, I want it on a credit card. If you do that, sure, no problem. Because if you know they don't show up, you can always dispute that charge. I pay for services and services when I rent it. It's no different if I walk into Sam's, take this water and walk out.
Got it.
It's larceny. Same thing applies. If I pay a contractor for work and work is never done, that's a problem. That is a problem. That's a problem where law enforcement will call it a civil matter, but technically it's not. Okay, and you can definitely reach out to us and we'll let you know how to proceed. So it's just one of those things when it comes to contracting or any type of home improvement, you know, just be careful. When there's a lot of contractors out there soliciting, they'll knock on your door, call, you know, or meet you at one of these Home Depot or Florida Cores, one of these places. They'll have to do the work there cheap. Just be leery. You know, just be very, very leery. And it all goes back to, oh, can I have your phone number? I can reach it. Or email, phishing, like Investigative was saying, you know, it's like, just be cognizant. Because everybody is scamming others to find a way to make a quick buck.
Now, is it true that an experienced scammer will ask for $200 or less dollars because it's a misdemeanor or something like that?
Oh, anything less than $750 is considered petty theft. Anything over
That's what it
$750 is
is,
considered
yeah.
grand theft.
Okay, $750, all
It
right.
used to be $500.
Mhm.
They changed it to $750. Anything less than $750. So if they do $749.99, it's petty theft.
If they're pretty confident they're gonna get away and you're never gonna find them, they can ask for whatever they want.
Yeah.
And also keep in mind, regardless if it's contractors or anything else, a lot of folks are using burnt phones. They're hard to track.
Using what?
Burnt phones. In other words, they'll buy one of these prepaid phones, get a card, put in a pin, they have X amount of minutes. And you can never track that down. Law enforcement has a hard time tracking those down. Okay, so a lot of them are moving to that avenue. A lot of them, based on what the investigator indicated in her phishing or email, this and that, all that comes into play. And it's hard. We have sometimes hard time tracking these folks because they're using burnt phones. A lot of contractors are going that route. Okay, because they don't want to be found. A legitimate contractor, regardless of who he is or she is, everything is, they have a corporation, because they have to incorporate or have an LLC. Those are the two criteria in order for them to get the workers' comp exemption. Okay, they can't be a sole proprietor. If they're a sole proprietor worker, they have to have workers' comp insurance. Remember that when it comes to workers' comp. Okay, so they have a SunViz account. They have workers' comp. You can go to Department of Financial Services and research. Is there workers' comp active? Contractor certification keeps a tab on some of the local licenses to make sure that their information is up to speed.
I was surprised to hear that in order to get a license, a contractor, they take an exam, okay? But the exam is almost all about accounting rather than construction.
It depends on what trade it is.
This is a general contractor.
The general contractor, it's a lengthy exam. It's a 2-day process.
Right.
And it's like
Very
once.
little construction issue.
Mine
These
is-
are 2 floors, a maximum.
Right.
2 floor. And
You mean a maximum of 2 floors, which
You
is
said
a
it was-
residential contractor?
Pardon?
A residential contractor is a maximum of 2 floors.
Yeah, residential.
Residential. A general contractor is unlimited.
Okay.
Building
okay.
contract can go up to
Then
3
a
floors.
residential.
So a
So
residential
he said
contract.
the exam is almost all accounting, which really surprised.
It's possible. It's possible because I know the laws have changed a little bit
Okay.
where in order for you to be certified as a certified residential contractor, you have to meet certain criteria in order for you to sit for that exam. Okay.
Right.
And a lot of folks have talked about a lot of accounting issues. A lot of times they complain is the laws regarding Florida Statute 49, Part 1. Okay, Part 2 deals with electrical, Part 3 deals with plumbing. But they were talking about the laws and less construction. It depends because it changed. Remember, it's Pearson VUE is the company that issues those exams. And these companies are in business to what? Make money. So the more failure they have, the more money they make. Right? Nothing against Pearson VUE, don't get me wrong, but just keep in mind, a lot of times these exams are designed for somebody to fail. So you really got to know your materials, which is sad to say. But getting back to it, is it more accounting or not? I haven't taken the exam, so I can attest to it, but I've heard mixed messages. Some more information on the law, some more on construction, some more combination of both. It varies. It also depends.
Do most general contractors, residential, hire subcontractors who do most of the work?
Well,
Or do they themselves do a lot of the work?
Well, according to the state of Florida, on the Florida Statute 49, it specifically states that a general contractor, general builder residential contractor can't sub out all the specialty trades to unlicensed contractors. if it's a single family home or a townhouse as defined by the Florida Building Code.
Yeah.
So if I'm a general contractor, okay, and this is a single family home, I can hire her to do the floor, I can hire you to paint, I can hire her
Okay,
to put up the trim.
and the general doesn't have to do anything.
General, all he has to do is supervise.
Yep.
That's it.
That's what I heard.
All he's got to do is
Which is
supervise.
why they say most of the time they do the account.
Okay, now, getting back to it, if it's a multifamily home or commercial thing, everybody's got to be licensed. Everyone, everyone, the painter, the tile, the finished carpenter, the interior carpenter, everyone has to be licensed in their respective trades.
So that.
So a lot of folks know that?
Yeah. If you have multiple, say, we're in a 4-unit building and there are 40 buildings.
Okay,
So,
if I may interrupt you, sir, what's the story capacity?
2.
2 stories, okay. That could be, well, that's commercial, so it'll be a building contractor, is the minimum,
Okay.
because it's commercial. You have
Now,
multiple.
this is.
Is this a condo or is this a townhouse?
It's a condo.
Okay, then building contract, residential can't do anything. Don't ask me why, which to me, I find a little bit wrong, because if I'm a resident, I could build a 50,000 square foot house
Yeah.
on the water from beginning to end, and I cannot do a kitchen remodel in a condominium. What's wrong with this
That's
picture?
crazy.
That's the way the laws are written. I mean, to me, it's ridiculous. Because a residential contractor can do it. Oh, no, the way it's defined by the name alone, residential. Well, that is my residence. No, technically in a condo, you own the air. You don't own the interior. You own interior. Anything from the wall in is yours. It's considered air. Anything inside the wall is owned by the condominium association. Okay, so hence you need to have a minimum of a building contractor's license.
Okay.
And higher. Residential technically cannot. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that. But you were saying, okay, before, with the 40 buildings.
It's 40 buildings, 160 units.
Okay. So building contractor to do any type of work. And a lot of times, a permits may be required. Where do you reside?
I'm sorry?
Where do you live?
In Boynton.
Within the city limits?
It's
Or outside?
it's Palm Beach.
Unincorporated area, okay. Depending upon if let's say the person above you is trying to do tile work, you want to make sure that tile contractor is licensed. Why? Because you can't put tile, is it concrete?
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
fortress.
So even the floor above you, is
Now,
concrete,
this
is that wood?
floor. I'm on the top floor.
Oh, you know, top floor, it doesn't matter then, okay?
Right.
But the person underneath you, okay, if you put tile and there's no cork,
Yes,
that person's gonna hear everything.
I found that out.
That's why having a licensed
And I
contractor.
have cork. I do.
There you
And
go.
I know somebody who doesn't. And it was just put in.
Ooh. Then you may want to,
Rip it up.
well, first of all, they would have to rip it up. Because if I was living underneath that person, I'll hear everything. I'll be complaining.
I know.
Then that person above,
He knew
technically,
it, he knew it.
Hello.
Not my problem.
What names do you have? That's your
Oh,
cat.
Pat,
That's your name, okay.
so, I mean, they're,
Yeah, unbelievable stuff.
yeah. So, I mean, technically what you talked about with emailing and the
Yeah,
phishing and everything
that
else.
was- I
kind of
wanted my
reverts
wife
back
to
to
hear,
this.
she was on the phone. And she tends to trust too much. And she tends to open too much. So I wanted to have
See you later.
her hear it
Gotcha.
from a professional.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man.
It's hard not to these days
Oh,
because
it
they're
is,
so
it is.
sophisticated.
Absolutely.
yeah, they're very smart and
They,
they do.
you have, when you talked about getting that
Well, this was
thing
great.
not to be able to
I,
get a quick claim
thank you for
against your
coming.
house.
Palm Beach County.
And thank you for
And
Carolyn.
what you asked for.
getting them.
You can go online and research it. Or you can call them directly and ask them, listen, I want an alert when anybody does a title search or does anything of that, title fraud. I believe it's called title fraud.
Did we call, did we call your office?
Absolutely.
Did you have cards? I have the,
It's on the
I think
front.
information's on the front.
Back there, yeah, got it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, we
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good information, yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Carolyn.
I mean, we brought in a lot of our experiences, personal experiences into the mix, so that we know we go through the same problems ourselves.
Sure.
Did a great job.
Yeah.
Well, thank you folks for having us,
Oh,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you very much.
Carolyn, two things. Did you want to make any quick announcements about anything coming up?
Well, a lot of people
Okay.
left.
We have, next Thursday, we're going to AMF Bowling Lanes. If you want to go, let us know. On the 18th, we have a mobility workshop. And, I think that's it for right now.
I just took.
Okay, did you want to do a door prize or are we not doing one today?
We will do one, but not right now. But
Okay.
there will be a prize, yes.
Alrighty, and thanks everybody on Zoom. We only have one participant still left. on-
Thank you. That would be me. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And there's another gentleman, so thank you.
I put down 145 for my own.
Okay, you can,